Good afternoon once again. We invite you all to one more edition of the Distinguished Lecture Series. I think this is the 38th or 39th series. Every month on the last Friday, we've been carrying this edition. And therefore, you know that we have had about 38 to 39 such people who have presented in the past. All of them are uniform. All of them have been leaders who have chosen to put public purpose before themselves and have sought to do things which can improve the conditions of whatever, I would say primarily how it can enlarge the green footprint of India. That has been the choice that these professionals have made. And every person that we have called so far has, at the very, very minimum, spent at least 20 years dedicated to the purpose that they have chosen to pursue. Now, today we have Mr. Sanjay Deshpande. You will see a profile of his coming over on the chat box. Therefore, I will not invest too much time telling you about what he represents. He's Pune based, and his is a company called, it's a social enterprise, I would say, called Clear Ford. You will hear more about it on the chat box. He is going to interestingly speak about rural sanitation in India. The idea, as far as the government and its own aims and objectives have gone, has been to provide clean sanitation facilities and to promote hygiene practices as much as possible in rural areas. Ultimately, the challenge has been to see how we can reduce open defecation and therefore to improve public health. Anyone who has traveled on a train would have had this very sorry, despairing kind of scenarios of where women are defecating in the open on the sides of rail tracks. And this is an image that I carry from my childhood of several times when I've had to travel in the trains. And I've asked myself, why is it that 700, 800 million people today who live in our villages have to have such open defecation as their misfortune? The key aspects of rural sanitation in India have been carried out by some very important programs. One is it's called, I think, the Central Rural Sanitation Program, CRSP. There is another one called the Total Sanitation Campaign, or the TSC. There is another one which this Prime Minister introduced some years ago called the Swachh Bharat Mission. And these have all been implemented primarily to achieve these goals that Mr. Sanjay Deshpande will also speak to you about today. Now, CRSP goes back to 1986, nearly 40 years. The Total Sanitation Campaign goes back, I think, to about 99 or 2000. And this one, the NBA, for instance, there's another one called the NBA, which is also an offshoot of the TSC program. And that was started sometime in 2012, while this last program was started sometime in 2020 or so, of the Swachh Bharat Mission itself. So what are the things that we have progressed upon as a nation? What are those achievements that the government has been able to secure across India's 600,000 villages? Remember that India is by far the largest in the world. In the world, we have about 1.8 million or 2 million villages. And between China and India, we share about 1.2 million villages, right? China is slightly smaller than India's number of villages. So what are these challenges? How do we have sustained use of toilets? How do we have hygiene and sanitation practices in our villages? How do we have waste management, solid waste management, apart from human waste management, carried out well? What are there any examples which inspire others to take this up in other villages and other tehsils and talukas in India? These are the things that come to my mind when we talk about rural sanitation in India. I will request first Professor Shweta, ladies come first. She is from the Nirma University, which is close to Ahmedabad in Gujarat. And Nirma University has been a partner institution for the Prem Jain Memorial Trust, apart from which it has been doing some very good work on producing architects, urban planners, and urban designers. Shweta, can I request you in one or two sentences to tell us what does this mean for your students of urban planning and design as well as architects?
Yeah, so I thank you everyone. I'm really sorry for a bit of mess, but there is some issue with my, I guess, laptop.
That's okay. Go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah. So thank you everyone. Look forward for Sanjay Deshpande sir to come on board and talk about improving lives in villages.
Have you had any lectures on rural sanitation and classes in your college, in your School of Architecture?
So not very intensely, but yes, we aim. Since last few years, we have started talking about sustainability a lot, and we have started making sure that the students put their foot on ground, try understanding their ways, go back to the rural setup, because we are also, like with architecture, we are also trying to teach planning. And from we had started a course in bachelor in planning, and right now we are starting a course in masters in urban planning. So students are taught about rural planning and the interface between urban and rural planning. So most of the students, like almost 60% students, are from urban setup, but we
Right,
are also trying to, kind of make a juxtapose. We try to link between the urban and rural, try understanding
right,
that the urban people, where does the food come from? How do you try understanding these the helpers in your house? How do they work? So our design problems, like we try taking them to try making a design for helpers, try making one bedroom or one living unit in an housing, and go and work and understand how does this slum people and how does this rural people, when they come to city, how do they operate.
got it.
So
Understood.
slowly we are just trying to make students
What
learn.
do you, yeah, I got that, Shweta. What do you expect to gain from today's session with Sanjay Deshpande? What's your expectation?
So for me, because my background, I come from a very small town and it's in Jharkhand. So for me, going back to my village and town, it becomes very exciting for me. So I expect from this, my the notes which I'm trying to make is how do we empower our villages? How do we, kind of we just keep trying to
Got
talk
it.
about people come to urban setup, but it is very much important, as Abdul Kalam sir has also pointed, that let us start keeping all the villages in the village itself and empower them. So this is
Right.
what I am kind of looking for, that with eco
Lovely.
sanitation, let us try thinking about the health and hygiene of our villages.
Got
And
it.
yeah, so that is what I am trying to look
Okay.
at.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts initially. And post the presentation from Sanjay, we will again come back to you. Anuj Gupta, you have over 25 sustainability courses, anytime, any kind of learning courses. Have you had anything on rural sanitation?
Sir, thank you so much for giving me the chance for sharing my insights on this topic. So, first of all, thanks to everyone who have joined us on this evening, this afternoon, and thank you, Sanjay sir, for taking out time and sharing your insights for the session. So, sir, as of now, there is nothing in our program related to the sustainable sanitations or the eco-friendly sanitations. But I'm excited to learn something new from this session, so that's why I'm here. But I want to share one story because when I was in college, my college, so I was in one of the kind of a NGO, which is Nirman organization. So I was the vice president of that organization, and that time we had a one kind of a program, Uday. There we used to go to one basti, which is nearby basti of our college, where we used to see how the people are working there. Okay, so there was a lot of issue about the sanitation there. Okay, so that was a challenge. Like people are not aware about those things. So I think community awareness, community building, and the participation of the engagement of the people in different awareness program is very important, so that they will aware about this kind of a eco sanitation. Okay, and I believe in today's sessions, my objective is like to understand the tips and tricks, like and how we can aware more people at the ground about this thing, and that can be implemented on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So that is my
I'll take
objective.
the liberty of asking you, Anuj,
Yes, sir.
if today's session with Sanjay Deshpande triggers some new ideas in your mind, do you think you will want to incorporate some aspects of such rural sanitation and learning into your courses. Would you want to
Abs-
do that?
Absolutely, sir. I'm very open to that. So definitely, if something is there, I would be glad to connect with Sanjay sir separately also, and we'll do something on that part.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
And before I invite Sanjay Deshpande, I must acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Renu Jain, Dr. Jain's wife. She is Jainpal Jain is not today. She's not on the online session. She's traveling, but both of them every day, not nearly every day, several times they do Prem Smaran. You know, and he's lost. He passed away in 2018, and 7 years now since he's founded the trust. To this day, they miss him, like many of us here miss him. I can see Samir Sinha here from Ahmedabad, another very distinguished, builder, architect, many multiple roles he plays as a business leader. Samir, thank you for being here. It's one of the first few sessions I think I see you on this lecture series. We have many others here. Gopal Santana from Hyderabad, Santanam. Then we have Dr. Ravindra Kumar Sharma is also here. I will invite all of those people
Skip,
to
Sunil,
possibly speak.
Rajinder ji.
Yes, Jen. Namaskar, Jemni. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for being here. So we will invite the others to speak. I was just acknowledging your presence also, Jemni. Jemni is from Jaipur. He's been chairman for the CIA there, later for the Indian Green Building Council. One thing I must tell you, Sanjay, as it happens in the Above Action Forum series also, many distinguished people today. It's one of those days. Plus, there are faculty teachers here. Your responsibility is for the teachers, and then, of course, primarily for the students who are present here in reasonably large numbers. Over 20 people here, I can see, are all students. The floor is now yours. It's 15 minutes past the hour. You take your time, maybe 30, 40 minutes, whatever you think is right. But before you do that, I have Sandeep Narang, who has been also a governing council member for the Prem Jain Memorial Trust. Can I request you to say something quickly? Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Hariharan. And on behalf of the trust, I would like to thank Sanjay sir for being here as one of our distinguished speakers. Whenever we interact with college students, we keep on talking to students about the students being only responsible to understand what are the problems of rural India, and they should come up with the innovative ideas, because our solutions, only Indian students can give us the solutions. We can't expect solutions for rural India coming from outside India. And part of National Green Earth Challenge, we would like to see a few ideas coming for rural sanitation next year. So that's how what I foresee from this program going into this archives of our DLS. I again welcome you, Sanjay Deshpande sir, and thank you again, and looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sandeep. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to this program. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that's often neglected. How do we take sanitation to the vast majority of Indians who don't live in urban areas? These are areas that are semi-urban, towns, villages. Wherever you go across India, all of you will have seen gray, dirty water flowing along the roads. You will have seen streams, nalas, ponds, all contaminated with sewage. So why does this happen? Why hasn't something been done about it? We're going to talk about all of this, and I'm going to take you through one solution. At least this is what we do. Our solution was originally made in Canada. I run a Canadian company's India operations. Believe it or not, we tend to think of the West as being way ahead. But if you leave the urban areas, the larger towns and the cities, most of Canada, the US, and all don't have sewer systems. The same issues that affect us here affect them there. The only difference is they use slightly better septic tanks, leach pits, and other things to mask it a lot better than we do. But the same issues are there. So if you don't mind, I'm going to now share my screen, and then we can proceed. Yeah. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, perfect, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So let me just begin by, let me take this off. I can see the screen. Okay, the majority of India is unserved. Okay, those of you living in urban areas, like I saw a lot of people from Ahmedabad, you have a lot of solutions. But even there are issues. STPs don't often work properly. There are operation and maintenance challenges. And of course, there are technical challenges with training, getting the engineers to use the system properly, money. Now, if you think about this is far worse in rural and semi-urban areas, where forget about putting an STP. The issue there is how do you get the sewage and the wastewater to the STP? Believe it or not, that's the first problem. Quite often I've seen people make designs and all as if they're in urban areas, in rural areas. And if you do that, your solution is going to fail. There is no way that will work. So what my goal in this talk today, besides of course telling you about what we do, is to get you to understand that you have to design solutions for whichever client you have in the future for their actual needs, not as per textbook formulas or rules. So a few of the problems. Wherever you go in India, you'll see this. Let me just minus this. You will see open drains from houses dropping sewage untreated into streams, canals, nalas, ponds. This is everywhere in India. Whether it's in a big city or in like Delhi, or you'll find it even in the smallest of villages. You'll also see this. What was supposed to be rainwater drains, repurposed for carrying grey water, the toilet, bathroom, runoff. Sometimes even from toilets. I've seen these repurposed covered up to hide the fact that they're actually carrying shit from toilets along the road to the outskirts of a town. This is all over India. The other problem you'll see that affects everything is layout. Our country is growing. It's gradually urbanizing. It doesn't mean everybody's moving to the cities. But people are from villages are moving to small towns are moving to bigger towns, and so on and so forth. End result is they're all growing, and they're growing in a unplanned manner. Basically, wherever there is space, people build buildings. After that, roads come in. After that, water lines come in. After that, if it's possible, sewer lines come in. End result is everything is basically designed to fail. And I'm going to take you through a series of examples to show you why this happens and what has happened. Now, what are the challenges for rural or semi-urban sanitation? They're basically in three groups. Okay, and these are things that each of you is going to face at one point or the other. One, these are the technical challenges. First of all, like I said, habitations have grown organically. Why does this matter? Well, sewer lines require lovely straight lines, as straight as possible. If you have roads that turn and weave, it's very difficult to put a sewer line. Every time you turn, the velocity of the sewage drops and you risk choking. Another problem is narrow lanes. Why do I say digging can be a disaster? Well, it's very simple. If you look at the towns and all you live in, look at Delhi, for example. If you go around Delhi, you'll see most houses are ground plus 2, ground plus 3. When they were originally built, they were ground plus 1. When a little bit more money came, they added another floor, then another floor. And this is the typical pattern throughout India. So often buildings are not structurally sound. And if you start digging deep in narrow lanes, you risk building walls coming down. So people don't dig. The third technical challenge is water supply. Water supply is critical. If you want to put in a conventional sewer, the big pipes with manholes that you see in urban cities leading to an STP, you need enough water to be supplied to later on flush the sewer lines. Now, the Government of India manual on sewerage says that's 135 liters per person per day. They are even thinking of increasing it to 150 now. Now, 135 liters per person per day, what does that mean in reality? It means maybe 5 or 10% of the population of India gets that kind of water. The vast majority of rural and semi-urban, or even in the outskirts of cities, gets between 50 and 90 liters. Which means if you put in a sewer line, there's not going to be enough cleansing velocity, and all the solids will settle down and choke your pipe network. You will be doing a lot of work cleaning the pipes regularly, every few months. End result is putting in sewer lines becomes unviable. So people have come up with solutions. One, something you all run into, high-tech solutions. There is an attitude in India, especially as we are growing, getting steadily wealthier country, that new is always better. The more bells and whistles you have, obviously the solution offered is better. Simple solutions don't work. Green solutions are looked down on. Unfortunately, high-tech also means much higher operation and maintenance costs and a much more likelihood of failure. When that sort of thing happens, people go to the second one, behavior change. It only failed because the public wasn't educated properly. We must teach people to behave properly so that the solution we gave them works. Okay. That attitude is probably the worst thing out there. Who are we to say that other people have to change their behavioral patterns so that a solution we imposed on them actually works? Should we not rather be designing a solution for them that works for them, that they can manage, that they can operate, that they can be proud of? Okay. A good example of this you would have seen is with the Swachh Bharat program. The Swachh Bharat program was brilliant, okay, in its initial days. Its goal was to stop outdoor defecation. But down the road, 5-6 years down the road now, we are seeing more and more toilets being abandoned. Why are they being abandoned? Because people did not change their behavior. There are social issues in India. People don't, while they understand that the soak pit, even though it's full, is probably safe to dig out and make new again, they won't do it because there are cultural issues with handling shit. Even repurposed, converted shit as now soil. It's very hard to change people's behavior who have been doing the same thing for generations. The third one is operation and maintenance. Invariably, you will find people forget about this when they make tenders or when they design solutions. Do the people you are offering the solution to have the capacity to operate it, to maintain it properly, and to afford the operation and maintenance? If all three of those are not yes, 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 do not offer that solution. It is doomed to fail. The third group is called the system. Things you're going to run into. One, the cover your ass mentality. You will run into this again and again and again. People will keep doing things that have failed before just because they can say, well, it's been done there. Well, it worked there, so it should work here. They feel secure that just because somebody else has done it, they are covered. They don't have to fear for their job or get penalized in some way. The next one is the L1 tender system. Okay. Tender system was designed to, well, try to ensure transparency and fairness. Unfortunately, it has been designed in a way that is a two-part system. One, where it's given out to people to design a solution, and two, for people to execute the solution. Whereas the ideal would be to say that, look, I have this project, you design and execute and install a solution. Tell me the best price you can do it. That way you can get newer technology, better solutions and all coming in, lower cost solutions. But if you have the system as it is today, somebody designs a solution, well, that may not work for this one. And then somebody has to execute, even though they know it won't work. I'll give you an example of this kind of thing. This happened in Pune, just down the road from where I live. I've been watching a construction company put in a stormwater line. And the simple rule they were following was that the pipeline, the top of the pipeline should be 1 meter below the road surface. So after watching this for a while, I came up to them and said, what are you doing? He said, we're putting the stormwater line. I said, yes, I can see that. But do you realize that the road is sloping that way to the end, downstream to a wall? And by doing it this way, all the water in this area is going to go there from where there's no outlet. He said, yes, we realize that. So I said, why are you doing this? He said, because that's what we've been told to do. So how? And then I said, okay, so what happens if that area is flooded? Oh, we're not going to do that because at every road intersection, we are not connecting the pipes. So the water will not flow there. We are putting in the pipes, but we're not connecting at the road intersections. So basically what they created was a series of large underground tanks that are filled with water. And that's on record, our area has a stormwater source, a stormwater drainage system. That's what happens. The last one is consultants. I know many of you will become consultants down the road. So this is my earnest request to you. Please, if you win a contract to do a consultation, to do a design, figure out the ground realities first before you make a solution. Don't go by what the organization that awarded the contract tells you to do. Okay. Quite often they will tell you to do something based on manuals and all that are not applicable. If you do that, you'll put in a system that is going to fail. So please don't do that. And otherwise also, you'll see run into many consultants that are attached to certain technologies. So they only recommend those technologies. Please don't be that. Be open-minded and think of solutions that help people. In rural India today, we have two common solutions: soak pits and open drains, and septic tanks and open drains. Why am I showing you these two pictures? Because these are two pictures of an excavation that I participated in at Dholavira in Kutch, Gujarat. That's a open drain, a covered open drain leading to a soak pit. This is 5,000 years old. We have been doing the same thing for 5,000 years. It's time to stop. It's time to do something different. Okay. You may think soak pits work. Many textbooks will say they work. But what does a soak pit actually do? It collects the solids and allows the contaminated liquid untreated into the ground. Okay. Now, on the Swachh Bharat, we have achieved a lot by building toilets. But what we have done is concentrate that untreated liquid under the village, under the town. In the monsoon, when you add water, that contaminated liquid spreads. It goes into wells, it goes into ponds, it goes into streams. And the whole area gets contaminated with coliforms. We can do better. We need to do better. Another solution you talked about is septic tanks and FSTPs. The Gates Foundation is pushing FSTPs in India quite hard. They are fecal sludge treatment plants. Basically, you have vacuum trucks going around, draining out septic tanks and taking them to a plant for further treatment. We can do better. This is a technology that's hundreds of years old. It's not new. The only reason it's around today is because we have all these soak pits and septic tanks that need to be dealt with. We really should do better. So ask yourself, is there a better way? Okay, I'm going to show you a solution that we came up with. Like I said, this was designed for Canada. It's been made in India to work in India. So you can take it as it is. Hopefully some of you will agree with it. I'm going to first start out by showing you two projects, both of them in Gujarat, both of them near Vadodara. Okay, this was the first project we did. It's a village called Jambudipura. It was paid for by ILNFS as part of the CSR program. This is a resettlement colony. You can see the houses are all in rows. Now, ILFS was using this village to experiment on various sanitation technologies, using worms, using soak pits, using modified Deenbandhus. Various things were being tried out. And they were not happy with the results. And that's where they came in contact with us. And we said, we can sewer this village for you, treat all the water and recycle it for agriculture. Okay, this is something that they never thought was possible. So as part of this project, we built toilets and bathrooms. All these white things you see are the toilets and bathrooms we built for every house in the village. This was before Swachh Bharat. So the toilets and bathrooms had not been started to be built at that time. Okay. Now, why did we build both? Well, toilets was understood. You need to stop outdoor defecation. But why bathrooms? When we talked to the villagers, and especially to the women, okay, the women said, look, while it's nice that you're building toilets, what we really need is bathrooms. So we said, why? Said, look, when we go to toilet, we go as a group of people into the bushes around the village. But when we bathe, we are bathing behind a cloth screen in the backyard of our houses with villagers walking by. We have no privacy. This was something that had not occurred to us. And I've never heard anybody ever talk about that. So we built toilets and bathrooms. Okay, and all our projects since then that we have done in rural India or through CSR funded projects and all, we always build toilets for those who don't have them, and we build bathrooms for every house because pretty much all of them don't have them. In this village of about 275, 300 people, waterborne diseases were common. Pretty much every house, somebody was falling sick every month. People were being, in worst case scenario, were being taken all the way to Baroda put in a hospital, the government hospital there. The costs were a lot for the people in this village. They had pipe water supply, surprisingly. It was one of the earlier villages to get pipe water supply. But even then, it was only between 50 and 70 liters per person. So we put in our system. And I'll show you the system later. But once it was done, we trained the women of the village. And now this is important, okay? In some areas of India, you wind up training the men because of cultural issues. But at least in Gujarat, we have always trained the women. Why the women? Because the men often go to urban areas to work. Whereas the women are there. If you train the women to operate the system, they will maintain and operate it. And we designed a solution that was very easy for them to operate. Remember, these are uneducated tribal women or uneducated tribal men. You can't give them a solution that requires lots of parts and all that. So we came up with a system that was very simple to operate. And that's what we installed. Operation cost currently is averaging about 42 rupees per house per month. That's primarily electricity. With a solar panel or two, you could probably bring that very close to zero. In terms of impact, okay, you all often hear people saying that India's GDP is depressed because of sanitation issues in villages. Well, after we put in the system, in the first 5 years that the ILFS monitored the village, there were 3 cases of waterborne disease in the entire village versus 1 in every house every month. And those 3 cases were all backtraced to people eating barf golas and various other things at festivals in neighboring areas. They weren't issues from the village itself. Today, if you go to the village, people who had cycles have bikes, motorcycles. Some houses have been painted. Some people have bought cars. That's the kind of impact you can have on rural India by putting in a sanitation solution. Just by reducing medical bills, by creating more opportunity for them to work. Because they're not sick, they can work. That allows them to make money. All of this is pretty much impossible to document. You're never going to get that in because it's a gradual change that you'll see because we've been going back to this village since 2015 when we completed this project. And we've been gradually seeing change in this village. So if you look at this, toilets and bathrooms, the sewer lines are here and here. This is the Anganwadi, this is the school. That is the STP, right next to it. And then the water goes and is used in these fields today. Another project, this was not paid for by L&T. This is a larger village. This is about 374 homes, 1,800. This is a village called Alva. It's also very close to Vadodara. Similar kind of solution we put in there. Look at this. We are recycling for agricultural use approximately 36 million liters annually. What does that mean? That means if we had not put in this solution here, 36 million liters of wastewater was going into the ground and into the village pond annually. That's what doing this stopped. Okay, so think about the extra things like extra agricultural income and all that. Just understand the impact you can have on the environment, on the lives of people. That's more than enough. Now, I'm going to show you our technology. One note, it's completely green. Okay, except for some minor electricity use, it's a completely green solution. The electricity, as I said, can be mitigated with solar panels. The solution is so green that we actually got the solar impulse efficient solution label from Switzerland for the work we've done in India. This was in 2020, as you can see, in the height of COVID. We're very grateful for them for actually reviewing our technology and approving it at that time. Now, the solution. Okay, and this is why I say it's important to design for ground reality. Okay, so what we do is we always design a solution that collects, transports, and treats all the generated gray and black waste. Toilets, bathrooms, kitchens, laundry, everything. Only if you clean up everything do you stop those puddles of water, the dirty water going down the side of the road. And only then do you reduce malaria, diarrhea, and so many other problems that are associated with stagnant water. We designed a solution that's not dependent on water supply. We don't need 135, 150. In India, we have installed systems as low as 35, 40 liters and as much as 300 liters per person. The whole gamut and anywhere in between. Okay. It varies. You have to design a solution for the actual situation on the ground. The best part of being green and simple is we reduce operation and maintenance. Costs go down by as much as 70%. When I run into engineers at some of our industrial sites and all who are putting in our system, and they say how complicated it is it to install and to operate? I say, well, if tribal women in Jambudipura can operate it, you should be able to do it. And they all smile. They go to the village to see the village, and they say, yeah, we can do it. It's not difficult at all. It helps that our capex is also lower. Considering green solutions, you should all consider it, because quite often they are cheaper and they're as good, if not better. They're also usually faster to execute, easy to operate. And for those of you in corporates or consulting, well, you can use this kind of systems for sourcing water, for zero liquid discharge in factories, to help your ESG norms. If you have not heard that term, research it, figure it out, because that is the future. More and more European companies, more and more North American companies, if they're going to be importing something from a company in India, they first ask for your ESG report, because it matters in Europe. It matters in North America. And if we are exporting to them, it's going to matter for us. So check those out. Now, as to the technology, okay. Now remember what I said up front. There's not enough water to flush the sewer lines, to take everything to your treatment plant. So what did we do? The first thing we did was this part. We shifted the primary treatment to source. That means to every house or every cluster of houses, we build these underground biodigesters, which we call a clear digest. And I'll explain how they work a little later. Into that, we take everything. We digest the organic solids and we trap the inorganics. So only liquid leaves these tanks. Now liquid will flow with gravity. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether you're getting 20 liters of water supply or 1,000 liters of water supply. It will flow with gravity. So you wind up having a solid-free sewer. That's the second part of a system that carries everything to your treatment plant. Now, the advantage of a solid-free sewer is you get rid of manholes. Have you ever asked yourself why there are manholes every 10 to 30 meters on sewer lines? If you haven't, consider this, that they're only for one purpose: to allow access to clear out blockages. If you don't have solids being transported, you don't need manholes. And the other reason I hate manholes is because quite often in India, I've seen in the monsoons and all, when everything is flooded, people open manhole lids to let everything drain out. It's simple, it's accurate, it works, but it also takes with it vast amounts of garbage into the drain and chokes it somewhere else. I have seen at the bar screens of sewage treatment plants, large pigs, huge banners and cloth. Those then get flushed down your toilet. They're all coming in through manholes. You get rid of manholes, you eliminate one problem that the treatment plant has. The last part is the treatment plant. Now, we primarily focus on getting everything to the treatment plant. Now, the choice of treatment plant for all of you should come down and only then, what is the Pollution Control Board regulations say the treatment plant water quality should be, treated water quality should be. If you can achieve that using a green solution, put in a green solution as a first choice. If you require a mechanical plant, put in a mechanical plant. We have done both. We have put in mechanical plants and we have put in green solutions. It just depends on the output standard required. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on the green solution part because that's what applies in rural India. You can't put a mechanical part in rural India. You'll never get the parts, you'll never get the engineers to operate it. Or you're going to post an engineer in the middle of nowhere. He's going to prefer to live in the city. So it's not a viable option in rural India. In layout, this is what it would look like. You can have these underground digesters for individual houses or for clusters of houses, larger ones for buildings. Everything goes into them. Then there's a lateral that connects it to the main sewer line that goes to your STP. So ours is not decentralized. You quite often will hear people say decentralized sewage treatment plant. But what they mean is smaller centralized sewage treatment plants. They don't mean true decentralized. Ours is a decentralized, centralized system. It's decentralized primary treatment in these digesters and centralized final treatment. Okay, it's a combination of both. Now in rural India, this matters. If you think about the situation right now, if you have soak pits, they are individual householders' responsibility. So the householder can decide whether he wants to use the toilet or bathroom, whether he wants to defecate outdoors or indoors, whether he only wants women to use it or only men, whatever. It's really the householder's decision. But once you connect everything to a sewer network and to a treatment plant, that becomes a panchayat's responsibility. And no matter where you go in India, the panchayat can enforce it. Any of our projects, you'll find the toilets and bathrooms are maintained, everything is being used, nobody's defecating outdoors, because now it's a panchayat issue. Okay, the panchayat is proud and happy that they have this system that others don't have. So they enforce it. So you don't get people dropping out, requiring behavioral change modification and all to continue using it. Because the panchayat does it for you. Now, the components of our system. The first part is the digester.
Sanjay,
Yeah,
5 or
yeah.
7 minutes? Yeah.
Sure, no problems.
Thank you.
First part is the digester. Okay. Now, think of it as a septic tank, but without the internal walls. A septic tank is designed to slow everything down, to cause sludge to build up, and then you empty it out frequently. What we figured out a way was by using this passive mixer, no parts, nothing, we're using head pressure, to bring in the water to create a gentle mixing. That allows the bacteria, and we use anaerobic bacteria that's already in human waste. We don't add anything. If you add something, you don't know when it's failed. It's a rural setup, they will not know. So we prefer to use bacteria in human waste. So that comes in contact with the fresh sewage, which is its food. It eats it. Okay. And you get very little sludge forming. At Jambudipura, that was commissioned May 2016. The digester is about 1.5 meters deep. After 8-9 years now, we are averaging 10 to 15 centimeters of sludge at the bottom of these tanks. Most of that is inorganic, soil and silt, because it's a rural area. So the digestion efficiency is pretty good. On the opposite end, we have a peak flow attenuator. That does two things. By reducing the outlet diameter, we prevent solid objects from entering the pipe network. One, and if you think of your own water usage, maximum water usage is in the morning, less in the afternoon. Again, it goes up in the evening a little bit, and at nighttime, practically nothing. Conventional sewers have to handle that huge load that comes in the morning. So pipes are made much larger. By buffering it right here, by making the outlet smaller, we allow the water level to rise in the tank in the morning, drop in the afternoon, rise in the evening, drop at night. We shrink the pipe diameter. That makes a huge difference when you are excavating and laying a sewer network. These are examples of our digesters, how they're built. Now the network. A conventional network, drop everything, pick up all the sludge, drop everything, pick up a sludge, like that, all the way to your STP. In ours, because of the digesters, you're only transporting liquid. Liquid will flow, like I said, with gravity. So our slope is much less. Typically for 1 kilometer of piping, our slope drops 20 centimeters. Practically nothing. When you have a lift station at the end, all you need is a submersible pump to pick up liquid. You're not picking up solids. Your operation maintenance cost drops dramatically. This is literally our pipe network. We took a JCB, dug a trench, put the bedding, put the HDPE pipe. You can see a lateral going to a digester somewhere this side. Very simple, very quick. The pipe network, which is the longest part of any conventional sewer in execution time, is one of the fastest in ours. Okay, what we do have, you can see here the difference in escalation, very large difference. One thing, instead of manholes, we have are these HDPE cutouts that come to the surface. They look like small inspection chambers. They are there to allow airflow. And if by chance a pipe gets cut or something, after repair and replacement, you can go upstream to the next of this, put in water to flush the pipe network. Very simple solution in anticipation of problems, which hopefully never happen. Lift station, ours is just liquid at the bottom being picked up, not the slurry that you have to pick up at a conventional pump station. Reduces costs dramatically. STP. This is the green STP we use, a modified version of it. It's called the VEC Camus. This was a technology originally developed at IIT Mumbai and spun off into a company called Vision Earth Care. Now we, in partnership with them, use this technology with our system wherever green solutions offer. Advantages: operation cost low, no chemicals, parent parts, no peak flow, no sludge handling because it's a solid-free sewer, no bar screen, and a much smaller STP. The one above this picture is at Jambudipura. It's a 17 meter cube STP. The water is pumped up and distributed by these nozzles on the surface. But then percolates through the various layers inside it, where bacteria act on it, and gradually it gets treated. The one below is at an industrial unit. This is a 50 meter cube plant, and in that there's a UV system to do the finishing. This plant is also completely green, and as you can see, we meet the pretty severe pollution control board norms available in India today. TSS, COD, BOD, fecal coliforms, all work with a completely green, low pollution and maintenance solution. It can be done. And it should be done. This is what the goal of my whole conversation today with you is. Last bit, if you have a couple of minutes, I'll just show you a few examples. This is that plant I showed you, McCain Foods. It just showed you how solutions can be applied. These are all outside of the cities. Okay, so they all have water problems. Mix of soak pits and septic tanks, frequent cleaning. We put in our system. treated the water, and recycled it for landscaping. So the fresh water that was going for landscaping now is saved for other uses such as process requirements. Similar kind of thing. This is just outside of Mumbai. This is a little different. This is a cement factory in Rajasthan. Water is a huge problem in the Thar Desert. How do you get water? So they actually asked us to sewer the nearby town, 2 kilometers away, capture all the water and bring it to the plant. Okay. And they are reducing their freshwater requirement. And the town is benefiting by having clean streets, no more dirty water flowing in the streets or along the sea. Everybody is happy in the town. Everybody's happy in the factory. There are creative ways to come up with solutions once you start thinking of green. And that's just what I wanted to emphasize. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. One quick question. You talked about Alva and about 90,000 liters per day or 90 KLD. What did it cost the village for them to do this?
It cost L&D. It was a CSI funded project.
Yeah, that's right.
See, the cost of the project varies over a large range. Okay, it just depends on the layout of the project. If they are all in rows, you wind up in a digester for every house. That's the most expensive solution. That comes to about 70,000 rupees per house, including the treatment plant, everything. If you have it in clusters and all, such as Alva, it can come down to 50, 60,000. In comparison, a conventional sewer would start out at about 75,000 and go up to about 1 lakh. So it's cheaper, but it's not cheap. Sewer systems and treatment plants, unfortunately, cost money.
It is not cheap. Okay.
No.
Professor Inayatullah, I namaskar to you once again. Your immediate take. You have had some very many years of experience in water.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. And congratulations, sir. Very, very, very good presentation. And you are taking, usually I am a third party for this Panchayat Raj, rural water supply schemes and all. We take only 555 LPG, that is our cost. And this can be, this proposal can be given to, because all those are rural supply schemes. Water supply schemes are there, but yet this sewer scheme, these decentralized schemes are not there. But anyhow, this is a very good subject, and we are teaching our students also. We are having 4 semesters environmental studies. Our engineering students, our syllabus is having start from water supply to environmental supply engineering 1 and 2, both urban and rural. Even I have seen in urban, I am a team leader for Karnataka Environmental Monitoring Evaluation. I am an assessor here in Bangalore. I recently visited Harihar. Harihar, the treatment plant, the lagoons, what they have designed, 3-4 lagoons, and none of them are working properly now. It is designed even not at all serving its purpose. So the problem is the projects are there, everything is there. The major problem is operation and maintenance and awareness. The major thing.
Do you see careers opening for students who are present here, who are students of architecture, urban design, sometimes engineers? Do you see careers opening for them in these areas, Professor?
Yes, sir. Now, even in our campus, the architecture students, we are teaching them also. They are also studying water supply, not only landscape designing, they are also learning rural water supply also, and rural sanitation, the major part, as well as urban. Urban is also, this is, sir's presentation is both for rural and urban. And maximum of our slum areas are not at all connected to mere terminals at all. Though it is a sewer line, and first of all, sewer line is not designed properly, and the data is not there in BWSSB in Bangalore or any urban area in CMC. I have not seen at all because I am there in monitoring evaluation committee. So these are the major part. Even in internship also, we are giving the same subject, the students to learn the softwares also. Across remote sensing JS, that is for water supply, for flooding, for disaster management, for that one. And Sewer CAD and other these designs, our even Jalashri projects we are teaching to our students, giving as a projects to the students, because nowadays more than the academic part, it is an internship. It is the projects which are taking more importance in the students. So it is not important to design the curricula, then we allow the students to get involved into the project and real time. If we give the opportunity for the students, or we can give some areas to go, like we are having a survey camp where we are virtually, we are simply giving the sites and we are conducting all the surveys. Similarly, more than survey camp, these Jalashri projects or Amrut projects, these are the major which are having more opportunities, job opportunities for our candidates. And more than our civil engineering, nowadays I am guiding many AI and ML students, artificial intelligence students. They are understanding this physics and phenomena, and more than this, every water supply scheme or sanitation scheme is included with a SCADA system.
Wonderful.
The
Wonderful.
SCADA system should be, though it is there in all the project, none of the SCADA system are functioning properly or justifying the purpose of which the SCADA has been submitted. So it's more exposure is required, more IoT and data collection and data analysis is required, real-time data analysis is required.
Right.
So it is not only engineering, not only architecture engineering, it is artificial, it is electronics, all the students, it is an interdisciplinary era.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
I'll be happy. I mean, next time, if you want to invite me, I'll be happy to come down and talk to your students. And I'll be happy to work with you to do these kind of projects.
Sir, our Guruji Hariharan sir is here. Whatever I do, I just follow the Hariharan sir.
Professor is being very humble. He's a very distinguished person, I must tell you. Professor Shweta. Shweta, would you want to say, you have raised hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had a question to Mr. Sanjay Deshpande, that you showed one of your case study was McCain Food.
Yes.
I'm just curious about knowing a bit more, because way back when the factory the setup work had started, we were hired to do the landscape of that site, and we worked on it. We tried maintaining it. So, I mean, this was, I guess, a later insertion in the master plan, wherein you are talking about sewage treatment plant and this high-tech sanitation method. But what my question is, for these kind of MNC factories, it's like they have a working time, and the quantum of sewage is kind of very negligible. So how do you kind of work with these kind of setups wherein the quantum of sewage, because you have a very handful of people and you don't have a running flow of sewage for that to be treated and then getting a flow out of it. That was
He did talk about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That was one. Then
next question is, I was also curious because we have a STP plant in our own university. We also designed an STP plant for Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University, and we are trying to manage it through an external agency who is monitoring it. And I mean, there is a monthly report, and there is a lot of push we try giving that person who is supervising it. So I am trying to understand what is that O&M method that works for you, which can help us in our institute.
Okay. Shweta, your question will need at least 30 minutes. What I'll do is this. My suggestion to you is that I connect you to Mr. Deshpande. right?
Yeah, no,
And then you speak to him offline and see how you can pick his mind from his experience of what he has done in cases. Yes,
absolutely no.
As I said to
we'll do that.
Dr. Inayatullah, I'll be happy to, you invite me, I'm happy to come down and talk to your students.
Yes.
Not a problem.
He's part of our.
Sir,
you know,
I will arrange a talk of yours, sir.
Professor Inayatullah is part of our family. You know, he's part of Wow Action Forum. Don't even worry about it.
And Nirma as well. I also
Absolutely.
teach at, I'm visiting faculty at Symbiosis.
I have a few,
I'm happy
yes,
to do
wonderful,
that.
wonderful. I have a few more people who will want to share some things. I'll start with Jenny Oberoi. He's from Jaipur. He's been chairman for CII as well as for IGBC, and he's running some very wonderful things he does out there. Jenny Oberoi, would you want to speak? Say hello to us. Namaskar to you.
Just in fact, I was just typing a hi. I was just typing a message to you because I have to leave now. But I think I've already sent out one part of the message that Mr. Deshpande, indeed very interesting. Ever since, as I have studied, developed, and constructed these septic tank and soakage pits, ever since I entered business 50 years back in Rajasthan, Jaipur, Alwar, Bharatpur, in fact, all over Rajasthan. It's very, very practical. We've all just moved away from it, but top class. Very well done, Mr. Sanjay Deshpande. Regarding your SCP, HH 2019, we bagged the first, we were the first to deliver net zero ICICI Bank RACT for Jodhpur. And this is precisely what we had developed there in 2019, catching hold of the entire water, taking it down to the tanks, then the immense greenery and the plants that came up, filtered everything, made it short of drinking for every other purpose. And all these, and we were not even consuming to more than 1 unit of electricity every day. And that's how we got our first prize. Compliments for this session. All the best to all of you. I have to be leaving. HH, you are
thank
great.
you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I must also add, let me add before you leave for the rest of them, that in 1994-95, when Mr. M.S. Oberoi wanted to start that Palace Hotel in Jaipur, he invited Mr. Oberoi and he said, I want you to construct this whole Palace Hotel. That was the most expensive hotel when it started at $400. Today it sells at some $1,000 or $1,100 per night.
But the most interesting part of it was that the gentleman, P.R.S. Oberoi, wanted us to do the lime plaster. And we said, of course we do it, but we do it with lime mortar mills. He says, no way. I want that gharat, that oxen to be going round and round. And I said, look, how can you do it? This is a mega project with lakhs of square feet. Where would I get so many oxen and, gharat bolte hain usko. Am I right, Mr. Deshpande? Gharat.
Yes.
Yeah. But, well, there was nothing yet. And it's true because that goddamn plaster of 18 years has never cracked. And we did it in 3 layers. Why? Because if you adopt a mechanical process, it just, grinds and takes out the paste. But when you do it with the oxen, which goes round and round, a slow process, everything, it takes you overnight to take out that from those 10 ground mills, and you plaster. So all the very best. I think we have to get down to our basic.
We'll invite you to tell your story to our students and faculty.
Wonderful.
Of such traditional masonry work that you have done. You have done some very inspiring work. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you and all the best. And I have to leave, sir. Very good session.
Please do. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Sandeep.
We will meet up. We'll soon meet up.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And Shalini Jain. Shalini, you are articulate, but you rarely come and you are never present in the meeting. So I must invite you to speak and tell us what you thought of the presentation that Sanjay made. Shalini? No, she's not there. He's not there. Okay, that leaves us with Mr. Pawan Kumar from Dehradun. He's been doing some very, very good work. Pawanji, your thoughts on what Sanjay presented? Yes. Hanji, yes. Pawan Kumar? Wow. He's also missing, or maybe he's just taking a break. Anybody else? Sandeep, you want to say something? It's 15 minutes past the hour, 75 minutes so far.
I believe we are right at the end of this program.
Yes.
And the way we started, sir, it was wonderfully presented. It took me back to the memories of my stay in rural India. When we stayed in a project, District Koraput, Dandkarna project, that was where my father was working, and we had these septic tanks and the way we treated the sewage. So that yours is a bit advanced technology of that sewage treatment, but that's how we need disruptive ideas for students to come up for rural India, for next gen India. That's how I feel it. It's very informative, sir. And thank you, Sanjay Deshpande, sir. Thank you,
Let
Dr.
me also add that Sandeep Narang has been working on very interesting things. One is on construction, water, and efficiency. The other is on noise levels, noise pollution and dust pollution in construction during the phases of construction. He's been advising many institutions on such work, and he's been working for the last 25 years on some of these frontier systems for construction. Well, one day we must get you to speak. You are part of the house, therefore we don't ever think of calling you. But I think we must invite you, Sandeep, to share some of your thoughts one of these days
Thank you.
into the.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else who wants to say anything before we wind up the session? I acknowledge the presence of many of you here. Bhaskar is here. Dr. Gayatri is also left. I think she's not here now.
Pawanji wanted to say something. Yeah.
Hi, yes, Pawanji. I was looking for you. Yes, please.
Yes, I missed it because I had a call, and
Okay.
so
Go on.
so this is a wonderful presentation by Sanjay ji on the solution which has been provided. However, my experience of working in the mountain areas and village which are saturated with twin pit latrines, which we discussed this thing earlier also, was a village which was which had the altitudinal variation of 1200 meters. The valley, it was 600 meters altitude. At the top, it was 1800 meters. So one village, on one side, one aspect. So will this solution work in a village like this, which is spread across a couple of kilometers? Will it be, if, considering the slope aspect, which is there any experience that we have had of working in a terrain like this? This is in a Himalayan. This was a village which in 1999, 100% Shauchalaya under the Swajal project, the first pilot which was there.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to know.
Yeah, I can answer that. We, to some extent, we designed a couple of solutions for some Club Mahindra units in the hills for Uttarakhand. And what we found was the main issue we faced. We can put in the solution. The main issue we faced was the digesters. It just depended how far down the rock was and what the rock nature was. Because we'd have to, dig down to put it. The pipe network was not an issue. The treatment plant was not an issue. The issue was just the digesters. If the digesters can be put in and the rock is not hard enough to prevent it, it can be done. Yes, sir.
Yeah, given the terrain in the mountains, you don't know where the rock will pop up in which location. That is the problem, actually.
No, that's right. We can figure it out to some extent.
Okay.
By seeing the rock types nearby, we can figure it out to some extent.
So I think I will connect the two SS, Sandeep and Sanjay, so that you can both see what you can do to explore. So this is the challenge. Forums like this, especially students and teachers here, forums like these help cross-pollinate ideas and get people to see how they can network into opportunities that India needs. Let's forget about what numbers of people, what amounts of monies will be exchanged and so on. The point is that there is always this opportunity with platforms of this kind to see that we not only learn, that we also see that we implement in places that we have not heard of. And we take knowledge from others to see if we can expand it into other centers. I think we should close at this. Any last words from you, Sanjay, as a message, 1 or 2 points for students in particular?
My only thing for students is don't go by what your textbooks always say. Keep that knowledge in the back of your mind, but designed for actual conditions, not from some theoretical norms that you have to design for.
I'm sure you all heard him. Rajneesh Joshi, he's one of our members of the governing council at the Prem Jain Memorial Trust. I'll request him to say a few words. Yes, Rajneesh.
Good evening. I was just going to sign off. I just sent a message. Excellent
I saw that.
presentation, Sanjay. Wonderful. And it's a great experience for me, frankly speaking. Very well spoken and very well conveyed. And I think this is, and Dr. Hari sir summoned it pretty well. I don't have to say anything except for the fact that I can only convey from the trust for sparing your time, Sanjay, and taking this further to the students and the people who matter in bringing about Swachh India. Thank you so much. And
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hariharan, of course, thanks a lot for you to have been a wonderful curator for this session. Thanks a lot.
Gracious of you.
Thank you. Thank you. everyone.
Anuj Gupta and Professor Shweta.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you, for having been here. Anuj, do you want to share any message, one-line message for the students, since you are interacting constantly online with students? What
Right,
will be
sir.
your message today?
Sir, my message would be like, as Sir also mentioned, don't do only the bookish thing. You have the practical things is very important, and be active, because that's a very important thing. Because in our PJMT also we do a lot of activities. I think recently we completed the challenge. So the student should be proactive in whatever the study they are doing in the colleges. Once the college is done, you will be looking out for the job, and also job will only be possible when you are active in the academics and all. So that's activity, the
Absolutely.
performance is very important.
Yeah, learning by doing is important, you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shalini, are you there or have you? Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, Professor Inayatullah. Special thanks to you for being with us all through.
Thank you, sir.
Sarla, thank you so much for
you.
always you put out one message. And I know you are always listening to us very carefully. In every meeting I have seen, you are there listening. And I'm sure you'll take the message to your students of engineering too. Well, I will end this meeting here. That will take
Sir.
us to the next month. I told you
Sir.
about the next month's meeting. Yes, please. Yes,
So
sir.
can we have one picture, group picture? I think whoever.
Oh, yeah, sure, we
I
can.
think- Let me just. I'll just.
I have taken it. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, you have taken. Okay, great.
I have taken it. I'll take it and send it to you. Well, that's it, I think. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Next month, we will meet again. Shalini, yes, you are now there
Yes.
finally.
No, I was there and I was listening, and this was really informative. I actually just, this one, I'm listening to it after, I think, many months.
Absolutely,
just-
yes.
Yeah, I was getting, and this is a subject which we are delving in, so it was very, very informative.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And say hello to Rajesh when you next see him. I don't know if you
Yes.
see him often enough. So,
Yes,
all right.
surely, sure.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
great weekend. Next
Bye-bye.
month is a very, very interesting session, June 27th, the last
Yeah.
Friday. We will
Yeah.
send you a message to all of you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
okay, bye-bye.